While a lot of the world is freezing their collective asses off, Yuga Labs is heating things up in the NFT market. On today's show, Dan and I are going to dive into everything Yuga has going on. Trial of Jimmy the Monkey, MD versus MM, whatever that means, the Otherside trailer, the 10KTF trailer. We're going to talk a little bit of Wolf Game as well. Dan has some big news around that. Before we jump into it, please like today's show, subscribe to our channel, head to FLOLiO.com for all of your NFT needs. Nothing we say is financial advice. Please do your own research. NFTs are very risky, very speculative. We just like talking about them. So take anything we say and do your own research before making any buys. Dan, it's been quite a few days. I was going to start off with, the Yuga Labs stuff, but then you dropped some news on me to start the show that I think takes precedence. And I think it's also a really good learning experience for people as well. So why don't you dive into your experience with Wolf Game and everything that's gone on there the last few days?
Yeah, I'll keep it short just to stay on topic a bit. But long story short, I've been almost every single episode that we've done, I somehow mentioned Wolf Game. Didn't even mean to, of course. Just kind of snuck in, That's because I've been in that project for over a year. It was one of my highest confidence plays. And then they finally dropped their full game after 1 year of development, or like over a year of development. And I was like, this doesn't look fun, right? So I had certain like core values in my head. And the game didn't really live up to those. So I decided to sell everything overnight. Told JWeb a funny story about how I was lying on my bed with my cat on me in the middle of the night. And I was like, I had to push her off to sell my stuff because I couldn't sleep. But yeah, just like JWeb just mentioned, it's important to always kind of evaluate your position and make sensible choices. And I also told him I sold all my stuff, and the morning after when I woke up, the token dipped like 30%, and that was my largest position in the project. So, sometimes you gotta stick to your core values and trust your gut, I suppose.
Yeah, and that is definitely easier said than done. I know a lot of people have gotten wrecked just from the fact that they're not willing to, change their opinion. They get too emotionally invested in the community and the project and the founders, whatever the hell it may be. And so that ability, kudos to you, man, for being able to, because I know that could not have been easy. Because I know that you've been like super excited about this, and you've been a big Wolf Game fan. But that was, that was the right thing to do. I wish I would have done that a little bit more near the top. I sold some Yuga stuff near the top because I could feel that euphoria. And I mentioned it before the show. Like, I saw people on Twitter yesterday talking about how, I'm making so much staking my wolves and my sheep. This is going to be like, passive income. This is going to pay my bills. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, it is time for people to sell. That is a top signal. We've seen this play out with Axe. For those who weren't around, Axie Infinity, was providing people a lot of money, but it was just, it was only a matter of time. And where is that extra wool coming from? The same thing can be said if you want for ApeCoin staking. But a lot of those situations where it's just like, is it too good to be, if it sounds too good to be true, if you hit peak euphoria, if you're screenshotting your balance and how much you've made, that's usually a pretty good time to exit that position.
Yeah, and I did screenshot my portfolio value. Was it, I think 5 hours before I sold. And that's funny because I did the last time. I think I screenshotted something related to like floor price. I think that was Oni Force a long time ago, and that's when I learned, like, if I screenshot something, man, that means I'm either like over invested, or I should like exit, or at least like sell something, right? Because that is the best indicator that you're either over invested, or you should probably sell something, is if you take a screenshot of the floor price.
Dude, if I look back before the Otherside launch and I see, I don't want to say the number out loud because I might actually throw up onto my screen, but my account balance in my MetaMask, with between ApeCoin and how much ETH was worth at the time, I should have sold everything, and it keeps me up at night sometimes knowing how much that has gone down. I've moved on. It's all good, but man, I wish I would have taken my own advice, because things would be a lot. I could have. Oh God, let's just move on before I start to cry on screen. We don't need that. It's the holidays. Let's stay happy here. So let's get into all the Yuga news. I had said earlier in the week that I thought, we were going to see some crazy stuff happen. I put that out on Twitter. For those who don't follow us on Twitter, it's at Dan Laaq, LAAQ. I'm JWeb777. But I put out the other day that on the 20th, that I've been around Yuga for a while, since the beginning of Bored Ape Yacht Club, and I was just getting the feeling that some crazy stuff was going to happen. We had the announcement of the new CEO, and I was like, okay, Yuga tends to go in spurts. We saw it at the end of the first quarter of this year. They dropped a ton of stuff around the CryptoPunks acquisition, around the launch of ApeCoin and Otherside, and it just felt the same way. And then we just got a tidal wave of information. We got news on the trial of Jimmy the Monkey. We got Otherside trailers. We got, kind of the next parts of the roadmap. So we'll go into those a little bit, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff coming for Yuga. Let's start with trial of Jimmy the Monkey. A video was released on Wednesday night leading into the trial of Jimmy the Monkey. Now, we're certainly not going to play it on screen.
No,
it was irreverent, to say the least. If you've ever watched the show Ren and Stimpy, it was kind of made in that style. It was absolutely ridiculous. But if you kind of move past the shenanigans behind it and the shock value, there was some interesting things that came out of it. People did some really deep dives on Twitter around what was shown in the video that could, kind of hint to what's to come. But the coolest part, I'll pull it up now, is that Yuga launched a webpage that's titled mdvmm.xyz. Now, we don't know what those initials mean exactly yet. It could be Mecha Dog versus Mecha Monkey. We're not really sure. But one cool thing they did is they laid out a timeline, which they haven't really done before for anything like this, with concrete dates. So we had on December 31st, a trial of Jimmy the Monkey. On December 28th, mysteries will be revealed, the past, present, future. It says, a prophet waddles among us, listen closely. On January 11th, so they're kind of taking the 10 KTF approach of these are all Wednesdays. So every Wednesday or every other Wednesday for the next few months, they're going to be releasing something, which they've never put besides when they've done hey, mutants on Saturday, they've never done anything like this where there've been a laid out timeline of multiple events. So we'll have past, present, future, prepare for the mint, study the guide, and plan your strategy. After that will be a multi-week interactive mint. Then the mint will be revealed, and then the story will continue throughout the year. So I'm also going to pull up real quick some information from the Twitter thread they dropped on Tuesday, because they put a bunch of stuff in there as well. There is going to be a minting experience for Bored Ape and Mutant Ape holders. This will not be, at first we were like, oh, great, Yuga's trying to extract more money. Not so fast. Read the whole thread before we'll jump to those conclusions, because in this thread, they mentioned that it is going to be free for holders of Bored and Mutant Apes. There are going to be different tiers to it based on if you have a kennel dog as well. Huh?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let me pull up this thread real quick. But there is going to be some really cool stuff in here. And there's a lot of game theory involved. There's going to be a mechanism for burning ApeCoin. So if we look, we can see down here, there are going to be different tiers for it. So if you have a mutant ape, you'll be able to get tier 1. If you have a mutant ape and a kennel dog, tier 2. If you have a bored ape, tier 3. Bored ape and kennel dog, tier 4. So the top is tier 4. This led to a huge run in kennel dog sales, as there are only 9,600 kennel dogs, but there are 10K apes and 20K mutants. Dan, do you want to say something there?
I guess nothing much. I've seen all of this information, and I guess the question remains what do the letters mean, right? Was it MM against MD?
MD.
Yeah.
So people are thinking and if you if you watch the trial of Jimmy the Monkey video, they showed that same box that had the key, right, which was in the picture from Thanksgiving. It's actually in the trailer. It's a different box this time, and people did some freeze frames and enhanced the image. And on it, you can see a dog in a mecha outfit and a ape in a mecha, in mecha gear as well. So we don't know exactly what is going to happen with that. And from like the minting side, you know, when you look at the website, what interests me is the multi-week interactive mint.
Yeah.
So the description is, or the little sentence is, the sewer calls, discover its treasures, and mint what you gather. So in the video, some apes have to jump into the sewer to retrieve something. I'm not going to say what, but I think as part of this, you're going to have to venture through the sewer underneath the yacht club, and you're going to find things that you're going to use as part of the mint. My belief is that it will be like armor or something along those lines to use with your dogs and with your apes. I don't know what the tiers are for it, but it's I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think we've really seen anything like a multi-week interactive mint before with any other NFT project. So I think this is, once again, if they can, and it's a big if they can deliver on this, it will be another kind of feather in the cap of Yuga as far as being able to innovate and do cool things.
Yeah, and Ace, regarding this, the founders of Yuga have said that they don't want to just do some airdrop thing, right? That leads me to believe that they wouldn't add more assets to the ecosystem if there isn't like a purpose or like a destination for it. So I'm not like a holder of Bored Ape or Mutants. I do have an Otherside deed, but other than that, I don't really have any other engagement in Yuga.
So Dan, I saw that the response on the screen, that was yours, right?
Yeah.
You write that. So I kind of don't agree with that. And here's why. I think that they want to keep Otherside separate to some extent from Bored Ape Yacht Club. I know that Curtis was in the Otherside trailer, but you know, I think that what they want to do is they want Bored Ape to kind of tailor toward their initial audience, which was like, you know, like males or people in like their, you know, late 20s, early 30s, kind of have that kind of like punk feel, that more irreverent vibe to it. And I think that is a big part of why they brought in the new CEO from Activision to lead Otherside, so that, you know, the original founders, Gordon and Garga, could focus on Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I think you kind of saw that in the style of the videos, right? Like the Otherside video was like super high quality, you know, 3D. It was great rendering, all that stuff. The Jimmy the Monkey video was more like a dingy cartoon, think like a Rick and Morty, Ren and Stimpy kind of vibe. So I do think that they want to keep some degree of separation between BAYC and Otherside. That's just my thought on it. It could be wrong, but I do think that they want separation. And then to Ace's question, I think Dan nailed it as far as there has to be a purpose to it. I think, you know, with BAYC, like, I'm not convinced that this is like a whole other NFT similar to like mutant apes. Like, I could see this being like a wearable thing that your ape, mutant, or kennel dog puts on and uses in some sort of like mecha game. So I don't know that's going to be like a whole new character in the ecosystem. It could be like an accessory for your apes or for your mutants or dogs that has some sort of use case.
Yeah, that's how I imagined it to be as well. Something really cool that they potentially could do, and that some projects have been doing this and there, and that's when you can kind of like change your metadata a little bit, but it's more like a toggle on the NFT. So let's say, like you mentioned, they dive in the sewers and find something like armor or something, or like a suit, I don't know. Then you can click on like a toggle button on your NFT to wear that, like those kinds of outfits or something, you know. That's also like something that they could potentially do.
Yeah, for sure. To Ace's point here, they put out a new article with the game, and we can talk about, or with the trailer, and they kind of talked about how like you won't need a Bored Ape to play. They're going to create, you know, the 3D models for apes and mutants and Meebits, and they're already working with other NFT projects to help them build avatars for their NFTs. But there's also going to be kind of like a blank one that you can use and customize. And I think they really do want to make this like a, you know, interoperable open world for people to explore and play in. And so far what they've shown leads to that. Like, I don't know if you've ever played much Legend of Zelda, Dan, but that's my favorite video game franchise. And some stuff from the trailer definitely gave me the feeling of like, exploring
Yeah, the
dungeons or some of the
exploration,
visuals like in Legend of Zelda, which if that's the case, that would be so cool.
yeah, and I believe the price of entry is 0, so you should be able to go anywhere that you want. I don't know if people might end up being able to like lock certain rooms, but the number one game that you can compare the Otherside to is actually Roblox. And
Mhm.
in your mind, you'd be like, Roblox, like that's a strange comparison, right? But if you see that the things people can create in Roblox, it is astounding. There's like Formula One racing games built in Roblox that you have no clue that is Roblox, right? The I guess that the point of the other side is that people can, build whatever they want. Like they reference games such as 7 Days to Die, which is like an insanely well-made game that is the building is out of this world. And I think that's what they want to do as well. So I think that people could just enter without paying anything, go to rooms, have certain experiences, and hopefully the room owners can get some sort of like kickback from all the people using their rooms or something.
Yeah, it looks like people are gonna be able to like collect resources, and the resources are on the land of holders. I'm wondering if like there's gonna be some sort of like functionality there, if you're holding and you have like resources that people use, like that they have to pay for it, and some of that goes back to you. I'm not really sure. I think that the price of entry will be like you'll have to use you're gonna have to use ApeCoin, and that's why like oh Dan, I'm right there with you. I was gonna add Wind Waker to that list. Wind
There you
Waker
go.
is so good.
Man of culture.
I also, we might go on a bit of a tangent here with Zelda, but did you play Breath of the Wild?
I haven't. It looks really good though.
So I got COVID back in November of 2020, and so I was like quarantined for 2 weeks, and it was perfect because I just played Breath of the Wild all day, and I was able to burn through it. And that game is so good. I can't wait for the second one. If there is like kind of that similar feeling of open world with dungeons and stuff, like that'd be great. But back to Yuga. ApeCoin is going to be the currency there, and people are going to need to spend it in some way. Like they want it to be a cheap entry, but they still are going to have it generate revenue, and that revenue is going to be in ApeCoin, which is why those of us staking ApeCoin, like everyone's trying to figure out the right play with that. To me, it is just accumulate and hold it for a few years, because I'm not really I think that they show that they're going to do some cool stuff. ApeCoin is going to be the currency of that cool stuff, and I'd rather just accumulate as much of that as possible right now.
No, I definitely agree. And so the trial of Jimmy the Monkey is that tomorrow?
No, so they had the first video. So it's not actually on Christmas. I think it was just like around Christmas.
Okay.
They had the first thing on Monday, then or Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be mysteries revealed. 2 weeks after that will be preparing for the mint, where you're gonna they're gonna put a guide out so you can kind of plan your strategy. The week after that is going to be the multi-week interactive mint, and that looks like it is going to take a few weeks. It's January 18th is when it begins, and then the revealing of what you've minted is on February 8th. So there is like 6 weeks worth of stuff coming up. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I mean, it's even as like a not like a Bored Ape holder or like heavily invested in Yuga, it's always fun to see this kind of things, because it's larger than their own project, right? Like they are the front runner of the NFT projects, so anything that they do well is like a big positive for the entire industry.
Yeah, for sure. Dan, I know that you have all this ETH from your Wolf Game stuff. Mutant apes are out there, kennel dogs are out there, ApeCoin is out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of different. That's the thing though. Like anything Yuga feels like a decent bet, right? Anything Animoca might even be a decent bet. I'm a little bit hesitant with like spending, but if I did, it would probably be like more Cool Cats and more Othersides, probably, I guess, because those Cool Cats also they're either like bought out by Animoca or partnered. I never really saw specifics, but they're definitely they partnered up at least.
I think the right play, honestly, is waiting a month and then like looking at Otherside, because the next journey isn't going to be until the end of March. We know how short people's attention span is in NFTs right now. There's so much attention on dogs and mutants and everything from that as far as what's to come. And because there is like a timeline, I don't think those are going to see the same kind of reduction in floor price as other deeds will. So I think that's a good call. I do think that like, right now the floor on other deeds is like 1.55. It got up to like almost 1.8 last night.
Wow.
But I'm sure they'll come back down, maybe even to like close to 1 ETH again. And so I think the play is like, once people are no longer thinking about it, if everyone's focused on, Charles Jr. the Monkey or other new NFT projects, whatever, non-Yuga stuff, then is your time to buy Otherside. My concern with that is clearly the We New Labs acquisition is going to be a big thing moving forward from the content side. Yeah. What they've done a really good job of is, consistently putting out content. And my thought could be that if Yuga gets into the same rhythm where instead of a Otherside trailer once every couple of months, maybe they put out like a weekly clip, is that enough to keep the hype up? I don't think it would like send the price soaring, but I do think that like, it may not dip as low as it has previously if they can keep excitement around it leading up to the next voyage in March.
Yeah, if anything, it's pretty good for sentiment, right? Like it's like no one wants a doodles, right? Where they just don't tweet for I don't even know how long it was, like a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, like if I plan on buying Otherside, it's definitely not right now. Definitely like a month or so, and then I mean still like I'm okay with having one, to be fair. But more exposure to you guys is rarely like a bad bet, honestly.
Yeah, I think if you kind of look at what you have, we don't know much about like the artifacts or the resources, but being able to find different, because there's a bunch of different types of resources, being able to find more of them like that you don't have already, maybe trying to add an artifact because that could decouple and that could have some value there as well. And God forbid if they go down enough, like maybe try to snag a coda. Like I think the codas are still a really interesting play and something that I don't have any currently. I sold the 2 that I had before and I'm happy I did when I did.
Yeah.
But if they go back down into like the 7-8 ETH range, I think that could be something cool. We don't know much about them, but there's a purpose to it. Yuga clearly has showed that. And, fading Yuga in that situation, I think would be a mistake, but that's just my take.
Yeah. And they showed like a 3D modeled coda, and that looked good. One of the things that's actually holding me back from potentially like looking into buying a coda is they're ugly, man. Like, I'm sorry, but on the NFT, they're ugly.
What are you talking about? They're cute and little.
Yeah, well, I don't think so. They're little, definitely. I wouldn't call them cute, but
man, some of them are cute.
Some of them are cute. I don't like the ones here where their colors are like super like mismatched or something. But at least in the 3D modeled one, they looked good, So I hope they look good, because then I actually might look into it. Like, because it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter what they offer and what they bring, right? But fuck, if I have to walk around being like a mixed colors on my head and body, looking like a gremlin, I don't know about that. But
all right, let's see what else on the NFT side. So the mutant hounds, man, those are going crazy.
Don't tell me.
Did you sell yours?
I did sell mine, but look, I got profit on it. I'm happy. They did go to like 1 ETH or something. What did they have right now?
0.92. Okay. What'd you sell yours at?
I sold one at 0.52 and the rest at 0.6 something. But I bought them for 0.29. So
here's the thing. I don't understand.
I don't know.
The burn hasn't happened yet. I don't understand why these are selling for so much, especially some of like the mega ones. Like I saw a mega one yesterday sold for like 64 ETH. Fuck. That is more than a CryptoPunk at this point. That to me is, if you like, I know a guy who got lucky and revealed a mega one and he isn't selling it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is a derivative project.
Yeah.
Like, this is a derivative of the third tier, BAYC asset. Like, why would you not be selling, for that obscene amount of money? There's like, I don't know the inner workings of it. It's by like a group of people called the Mutant Cartel, who are very well respected. Whatever, it has like a strong leadership, but like I really don't know what they can do to justify a 65, a 1 ETH floor for the regular house, but a 65 ETH floor for the megas. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, a lot of price action came, or like a lot of price action happened because people are like hoping that they're somehow incorporated into the other side, because they're also modeling them to be used in the other side or something like that. But like the more you guys doing stuff now, I think that increases like the risk as a mutant holder, right? Or sorry, a mutant hound holder. Because I had 3, and I saw all the Yuga stuff, and the first thing I thought was like if Yuga does something good, that seems like a little bit like a bad thing for the hounds. So I wonder if there's people that go to like OpenSea and sort of like trending or whatever, and they see like, oh, mutant hounds, oh, that's from like Yuga, right? And they just kind of buy it. I wonder if there's people out there that think they're buying like a Yuga asset, but instead they're buying like a derivative.
I think that there's a lot of people who are under the impression that there is going to be some connection. You have Leor.eth. He is the leader of this. He also created a hedge fund or VC fund called Eden Block, which was an investor in Yuga. So there are people like, oh, he has connections, and so therefore there's going to be a lot of ties between that and Yuga, and so this would be a good speculative buy. I think that's a risky approach to take with it. There's been nothing confirmed there. I think that kind of speculation isn't good. It's also one of those things where I saw him celebrating when they hit 1 ETH, which is, to me, that's never. I don't really like it when founders are talking about floor price. That's one thing I've always appreciated with Yuga. Like when Bored Apes hit 100 ETH for the first time, that's a huge thing, like gigantic. We didn't see any of the Bored Ape holders talking about that because they were just like, we don't care about floor price right now. We just want to deliver cool stuff. And so I'm not a fan when I see that, to each their own, but it doesn't make sense how these things are going to retain so much value over time when it is, it's the Mutant Cartel has another NFT called Oaths, which is like their intro NFT. And the Hound collars are like more expensive than those right now by like 50%. And I get that's like the speculative nature of things, but that doesn't make sense to me. And I just have to imagine that these are going to go back down. Like I wouldn't be shocked if we saw them under half an ETH again in the coming weeks. There is going to be, well, maybe not the collars, because there's going to be like a burn mechanism, like with the Renga black boxes or the Clone X vials. So maybe the collars stay up for a bit, but the revealed ones, I have a hard time seeing them staying above half an ETH.
That's what I thought, right? And then the pre-revealed, so like the pre-reveal mega, so when they were all like the same, it was like it went down to 0.4, and then like tick tock, and then bang, they were like 0.8. So I was like, it would be really interesting to see them burn and then reveal their actual hounds and then go up again, like that's going to be interesting if that does happen, because then if that happens again, you might have to like revisit and then be like, what, like why is this going up again? Like, but I don't expect them to. But
yeah, I don't either. Anything else going on in the market that you think is worth discussing right now? I know things are quiet. We're getting ready for the holiday. Do you have any plans does your family celebrate Christmas?
Yeah, we in the Netherlands we have 2 days of Christmas, and on the second day we're heading down to our aunts in Amsterdam. So we go there, we celebrate, we give out some presents, we chill, we eat. And other than that, yeah, I mean, it's funny looking back, because last Christmas I remember sitting there like sometimes looking at my phone, looking at my holdings, like my NFTs. I was like, damn, I'm rich, shit. God damn. And that's December, right? So we all know what's going to happen. That entire year after, it's just gone down. So it's funny looking back. But yeah, this is something I mention quite often. I'm so incredibly lucky and blessed that I've done well this bear market. Like I'm significantly up this bear, and I can't imagine all the people that are getting absolutely wrecked. I feel like it's hard for me to like take credit or something. I feel like I got the lucky in the right trades, right times. So all my feelings and sympathies to all people that got destroyed in this bear market. Hopefully it's over soon. It's looking kind of decent, like volume wise, right?
Volume is picking up. What I want to see, and I've said this before on here, I think, is that I want to see the number of active users start to trend back up. I don't think we're going to see that this month. Right now I'm looking at Dune Analytics for December on OpenSea, 236,000. I get that there's other marketplaces, but we don't really know. I think it's going to be a while until we see with Blur how much is legit.
Yeah.
Like, because with people trying to farm for these different airdrops, I think after the airdrop happens, we should have a better idea of Blur's actual volume, because right now people are like wash trading on Blur to get more airdrop tokens, which I think is a very risky bet because we have no idea the market cap of the Blur token or anything like that. So still using OpenSea as just a general, to gauge the market. And I'd like to see that number go up. It does look like volume, it might, we might beat November for volume. We still got a few days left. I wouldn't be shocked if we have a few more, another Yuga announcement, maybe that drives some more volume. So I'm hoping that we can see things pick back up, hoping other projects make some announcements. Here's something from Azuki, CloneX in the coming week with, Clone Artifact still pisses me off just with how greedy and cash grabby they are. But, I know that people are holding it and excited for the Animus and all the other stuff that they have coming. So I think if some of these other projects besides Yuga owned ones start to do some cool stuff, get more interactive. And that's my thing with, not to go too long winded here. One of the things I'm excited about with Trial of Jimmy the Monkey, I honestly don't even care if there's more NFTs involved that are worth any money. I just want to do something that is fun and different and shows that we're making progress forward. Like, I don't care about the short term, the next, 3 to 6 months. Like, if they can show something cool that gets people excited and gets more people involved, and it, gets people talking again, actually wanting to talk to their family and friends about NFTs besides shutting up about it because they're so down bad. Like, I think that's better long term than just another NFT that people get.
Yeah, and we've seen almost any project ever. If they do that, let's say the new NFT, whatever, is worth 10 ETH, then that 10 ETH is deducted from the original collection anyway. You don't really get anything for it other than you kind of like dilute all the value, all the prices.
For sure. Ace, happy Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you for being here for all of our shows. We appreciate your continued support there. It's really awesome to see you here. I think that's going to wrap it up for today, Dan. So I hope everyone watching has a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever holiday they celebrate this time of year. Please enjoy it. Enjoy some time with your friends and family. What days are your Christmas? 24th, 25th, or 25th, 26th?
Good question. I'll go with a 25, 26. Nah, surely. Wait, I'll check. I'm really bad.
You Dutch and your weird holidays,
right? I mean, we got 2 days.
This is why you can't trust the Dutch.
Okay, it is 25th, 26th. There you go.
See, we celebrate 24th, 25th. We had Christmas Eve on the 24th and Christmas Day on the 25th.
Yeah, it's funny because we have, in translation, we have Christmas Day 1 and Christmas Day 2, which is pretty funny.
I like it. Keep it simple that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I will see you after Christmas Day 2 then. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you watching. Have a great holidays. If you're still watching, please like today's show, subscribe to our channel, drop a comment, go to FLOLiO.com, all of that good stuff. Take care, everybody. We'll be back next week, and happy holidays.
Bye-bye.